good evening, and welcome to Counsel of the Day with Shanrae. Good evening. As you come in, please share. Good evening. I do not own the rights to this song, but this is our theme song for this week. I can love them better than you can. Good evening, and welcome to Counsel of the Day with Shanrae. I'm going to let this music play for a few minutes, and I am multitasking as usual. Good evening, and welcome to Counsel of the Day with Shanrae. So this is my theme song for this week. I can love you better than, and that's what the topic says. I can love you better than they can. So good evening. Please like and share as you come in. Okay, it's so good to see everybody. Good evening. Hello, Harry Lyles. Hello, Susie Banks. Hello, Javon. How are you? Please like and share. Please like and share as you come in. And we're going to go on and get started. Let me cut this music off. All right. So good evening. Welcome to Counsel of the Day with Shanrae. And I am Shanrae. I'm going to go on and read my website disclaimer, and we're going to get started. But I'm so happy to have you all here this evening. As you come in, please like and share. And so let me start with my disclaimer. It says, please be aware that due to the nature of the technology that we're using, there can be no assurance of confidentiality when using this online service. It should also be noted that due to changes in policies, that all replies are to be used as advisory and informational only and will not constitute an official determination. So information provided by myself, a counselor, or any other spiritual leaders or other counselors are subject to the limitations of current and available material. So the final responsibility for successfully achieving a goal rests with you, the individual. Information online is designed to be helpful, but however, this information changes frequently. So it is recommended that you, the individual, the client, will consult with another physician, another counselor, another specialist, or another religious leader to aid in your overall behavior wellness. So I'm so glad to see you all. I was running a little bit behind this evening, but it's here. I'm here, guys. I'm here. And we're going to pick up from Tuesday. I'm sorry, I'm multitasking. So if you see me looking away, that's because I'm multitasking. So the question for this week is, like the song says, I can love you better, or I can love them better than you can. And so we all know that this is referring to extramarital affairs or anything like that. And we left off with a heavy question on Tuesday, which was, I'm sorry, let me turn this down. I'm turning this down. Y'all know I'm working multiple things at one time. But I want to, this is an open forum. Hi, Tanita. This is an open forum, and I want to get a lot of feedback on this, whether it's personal or something that you may have seen in your life or experienced or something like this. But we left off with a heavy question on Tuesday night. And one of the things that I asked was, what makes another person feel like they can love someone's spouse better than they can? And so Miss Tina Hobson, she chimed in and she said that they feel like that they're, in her opinion, that she feels that these people feel like that they're the answer, that they are the answer to that spouse who's cheating, that they're the answer for them. And so it was the end of our time frame at the time. So we couldn't really delve into it. Good evening, Angela. We couldn't really delve into it, but this is an open forum. So I want a lot of feedback. Please excuse me, my lips are a little dry. And again, I'm looking back and forth I have multiple devices that I'm going at this time. But please chime in. If you feel like, if you want to share something, if you want to come in live, I will bring you in live. But the question again that we left off with on Tuesday night is, what constitutes or what makes a person feel like who is an outside entity? What makes them feel like they can love another person's spouse better than that spouse can? So again, Tina Hobson, She really, really did give a lot of insight. And it was just very plain and very simple. She said that fling or that lover or whoever they are, they feel like that they're the answer. That they are the answer to that spouse, the one who's engaging in infidelity. They feel like that they're their answer. That they can make them happier than the spouse. So, all right, I want to open up because I have a scripture for the month. And my scripture for the month comes from 1 Peter chapter 4 and verses 8. And this is the NIV version. And it says that above all, love each other deeply because love covers over a multitude of sins. I see something. Oh, hold on. Tanita Favor says that sometimes the cheating spouse has given them info on what they are missing in their marriage. Okay, so they've given their extramarital affair information. They've talked to them as if that person is their counselor. This is what I'm getting from this. They talk to them as if that's their counselor and that's their therapist, and then and so they're missing this in their marriage. Okay. All right, so, and yeah, and what I've heard frequently through counsel and everything, that it's, again, it goes right back to, it's always the other person's fault why that person is breaching their marriage, their marital covenant. It is always the other person's fault. So, okay, and what they're not getting in their home. Okay, so, and then you know what? When somebody feels that they're right, no matter how things are pointed out to them, they're going to do what they want to do because they feel like that they're right in what they're doing. So, okay, so that spouse told them this is what they're missing in their marriage. But the thing is, I wonder if they communicated that same thing to their spouse for things to become better. So, okay, we're going to talk about, let me give you, because y'all always have to give you definition now. So, love, the first definition is, love is an intense feeling of deep affection. Number 2, love is a great interest and pleasure in something, which is a noun. Number 3, love is to feel a deep romantic or sexual attachment to someone, which is a verb. So, now I'm going to give you the definition of lust. Tanita said, nope. Yeah, you're right. 9 times out of 10, that same spouse never communicated their so-called wants or desires to their spouse. No, they just gave them a reason why they wanted to do what they wanted to do. So, so let's talk about lust. Let's give you the definition of lust. Number 1, the first definition is a very strong sexual desire. That's lust. The second definition is to have a very strong sexual desire for someone. And I want to give you the definition for extramarital affair. So an extramarital affair is defined as relationships that are outside of a marriage, where an illicit romantic or sexual relationship or a romantic friendship or passionate attachment happens or occurs. So y'all chime on in if you all want to say, if you want to give some insight or anything like that, chime on in. So I want to talk about why married men cheat and why married women cheat. And I have before me, I have a side-by-side answer. So I'm going to give you first what the man says and then the woman. So these reasons have been actually researched, long-term research with different therapists and psychologists, and these are the ones that they talk about, the main reasons why married men cheat and why married women cheat. So first of all, as Tanita said, psychological and emotional need. That's why the man cheats. This is why the married woman cheats. They're in love with someone before they got married to their husband. Number 2, why a man cheats is because of emotional satisfaction. For the woman, they're falling in love with someone else. For the man, just for fun. For the woman, to seek revenge. For the man, when the other lady is open to love, this is why they cheat. And for the woman, a variety is the spice of life. For the man, they enjoy the intimacy with someone else. And for the woman, because they bored with their husband. For the man, to reward themselves with additional dose of sex. And for the woman, adultery is no more considered a shame. So for the woman, adultery isn't considered shameful anymore. So for the men, for an ego boost, the woman, they desire for emotional support and intimacy from someone else. For a man, for financial rewards. And for the woman, lust or physical desires. I'm going to say with financial rewards, that's also for a woman too. Because if they can find them a sugar daddy or a sugar zaddy, somebody that can pay their bills and stuff like that, nowadays, that's one of the reasons why women do it too. And then for the last one, for the man, why they cheat, is to strike a better chord with whoever else. And for the woman, just to show off, to show that she can do it and get away with it. Oh, I'm sorry. There's more. I'm sorry, because I have several pages. So for the man, she is all that, which his wife is not. So the woman that they're sleeping around with, she's everything that the wife isn't. And then for the woman, to enjoy free help. Okay. For the man, like attracts like. That's what this is what they research. For the woman, fostering a desire for attention and flattery. I think that that's also for men too. Men like the attention and they like the flattery if they feel like another woman is giving them attention and stuff like that. So I think that's both, actually. Another reason why men cheat is to climb up the social ladder, which we've seen that down through the years. And then for a woman, a need to feel sought after. So this is another one for a man, for career ambitions. And I think that's for both, actually. We know that that's for both. And then it says with the woman, pressure of her own husband's career prospects. Wow. In other words, being pimped out by her husband to help him climb up the social ladder. We're here for the man to improve socioeconomic status. He'll sleep around so he can climb up that social ladder again. And then for the woman, influence of the company that they keep. Well, you know, my girls is doing it, so I'm going to do it too. Hold on, I got something here. Sandra Longhorn Knight said, hello, Sandra. She said, sometimes after being married to one another for so long, both parties forget to communicate with one another, and we forget to compliment one another. And you're right. You're right, because it's become such a routine that, yes, the fundamentals are, we forget about those. We forget about those things, the fundamentals, which when you start having that on the outside, like you said, the outside compliments and different things like that. And then when you start entertaining it, like, oh man, I still got it. Then, you know, that causes a lot of problems. It causes a lot of problems in your marriage. And when that stuff happens, 9 times out of 10, your marriage really is over with. If this is something that is being, you know, that's being built into your relationship. So again, revenge, men do it for revenge too. Women do it for money and establishing safety nets. And men cheat because of the total package. And then again, the women do it because they want to feel wanted. So I'm going to skip down just a little bit. And it's a lot of longitudinal studies that have proven these same reasons why men and women cheat. But as a Christian counselor, the bottom line, Sandra said, hey, thank you, Sandra. The bottom line with this lack of loyalty and this breach of godly covenant, it still all boils down to selfish ambition. Selfish ambition. Nothing in life is easy. Nothing in life is gonna just automatically. You gotta work for anything. You know that old saying, anything worth having is worth fighting for. But when we start looking for outside entities to be the answer for what's going on the inside of your marriage, whenever that door is open right there, you have basically just taken your marriage and thrown it in the can. Good evening, everybody that's chiming on tonight. You have basically just taken your marriage and just threw it away. Because I don't care what anybody says. Yes, we do forgive. But that trust part, it almost is never, ever, ever rekindled again. The person that's been cheated on will always be looking, hey, so Swayza, how are you? God bless you too. The person that's been violated or cheated on, that person will always be looking, well, not looking, but will always feel uncomfortable, like God forbid if the spouse is not with them. I remember I was at a seminar, at a conference, actually, at a Christian conference, and the person that was teaching the conference that evening, his name is Dr. Sam Chand, Dr. Samuel Chand, C-H-A-N-D, very well-known public speaker and former pastor. And I remember him talking about the breach within the marriage. And he said whether that person who got, was the victim of this breach, he said it takes God to come in and to really, really do heal and mend that person's heart behind such a travesty. And he said whether the person moves on with their life, divorces the person that did it to them and move on, he said even the new person will always suffer the repercussions of, honey, they got to know every minute where they are. Honey, I just got off of work. And look, turn it on the video cam. Honey, see, there's nobody in the car with me. There's nobody in the car with me. I mean, the way he did, he said, like, he driving, there's nobody in the car with me. And they got to tell their spouse everywhere they going, who they with, why they with them, because of that breach. And once that trust barrier is broken down, it is so hard. I strongly advise people to get counseling behind this, and so they can heal and they can move on, whether you can trust the person ever again or not. But you still should be able to love freely somebody else who did not do that to you. So I want to read this very quickly, how to save a marriage and ways to fix a marriage for those that have experienced this. And please chime in, guys. Y'all know we don't have a lot of time. Let me check this timer real quick. Hold on. Okay, so we don't have a lot of time, but I do, the last question that I left with again was, what makes the extramarital person, what makes that person feel like they can love the person's spouse better than their spouse can? I hope I didn't just confuse you. But while I'm waiting on some information, how to save a marriage, and this is ways to fix a marriage when this breach has entered. And I don't, everybody doesn't divorce or separate or just decide I'm going to cheat back or revenge. There are some people that really do believe that their marriage can be saved. So this is one of the things. Number one is be committed and honest to your partner. Number two is to respect the institution of your marriage. Number three is to find ways to keep the relationship fun and alive. Number four, thank you, Swayza. Number four is to respect the norms of society and be ethical. And I stated this on Tuesday night. A person, who a person really is how they act when they're alone by themselves. How they act when they're not with their spouse or with their family members or friends. That's who you really are. I was out taking care of business today. And when I was coming out of the place that I was conducting business at, there was a man riding around in the car. He was trying his best to get my attention. Waving, honking, waving, trying to get my attention. I kept on going. I went to my car. I kept on going. The dude parked in front of my car. Still trying to get there, and I kept on going. First of all, I wasn't flattered. Second of all, that's not how you approach. To me, that's not how you approach a woman or a man. That's not how you honking your horn trying to get your, no. But you know what? If I had the type of mind frame where, well, my husband ain't here, nobody here that I know, and I'm flat. I need some attention. You know, that could have easily went another way. That could have easily went another way. But who you are, who you really are, is how you conduct yourself when you're not with your spouse or with family or anybody that you know. That's who you really are. Are you ethical? Can you uphold the covenant of your marriage when nobody else is around? Are you sitting there DMing people and letting them DM you, and y'all having all kinds of illicit conversations that you should not be having? And to me, one of the worst betrayals is when you are talking about your spouse to another person outside of your marriage. You have no business doing that. That is one of the biggest betrayals ever. That is the most unethical thing you could ever do. So Sandra said most women complain about their spouses not wanting to go to counseling. And you're right. Most men or most women, a lot of times the guilty party or the troubled party, they don't want to go to counseling because 9 times out of 10 they feel like ain't nothing wrong with them. So, you know, what I can tell you all is you go to counseling yourself so you can get a different perspective on you, on how you feel you should cope or tolerate or not tolerate whatever is going on in your home. And so what we have to remember too as married people is that we're married and we love our spouses. But one thing we cannot do is we cannot overcome for them. Everybody comes into any relationship with issues. But if the issues are too far and the people refuse to get help, one thing you need to understand is God didn't put you with that person for you to overcome for them, because we got to overcome for ourselves whatever's going on. And if that person is not willing to overcome for themselves, then they will reap the repercussions of it. You decide what you need to do from there. And no, you don't have to stand in this situation. You don't have to. You don't have to, especially when that covenant has been breached. A lot of times in church, and we have Superwoman that's just chimed in. Hi, Superwoman. So let me give some advice for anybody that is having an extramarital affair. I'm going to read this a little bit. I'm trying to, because we don't have a lot of time. So first of all, if you are the affair, if you are the extramarital person, first of all, come to terms with the facts that this is going to be difficult and it's going to hurt. But it's going to hurt. Let me see something. Let me make sure that I'm reading this right. Long conversation, then pretty soon, then the feelings begin to both of those reasons why that. Okay, developing attraction with it. Okay, so the pursuit. So this pursuit that happened to you, if you're the extramarital affair, it involves hiding, manipulation, and lying. So the very things that you will wind up later despising these things yourself, and you will never be able to trust the person that cheated on their spouse with you. You just get ready. Know that the same thing is going. You do reap what you sow. Another thing is, but the person that is the extramarital affair, you may not have gotten into it on purpose, but that is also how you get out of it too, on purpose. So this is just a little bit of a good evening, Superwoman. This is just a little advice here for someone that may be in this situation right now. And then, so let's talk about, so if you're already having an affair, you probably feel terrible, but are having trouble stopping and have no idea what to do. So we know this is extremely painful, and you want to know some things that you can do to rectify this. So one of the things is to come to terms with the fact that it's going to be difficult and it's going to hurt. If once you leave out of this relationship, but there is life again. Number 2, you can open up with God and own everything that you've done, and then confess without excuses to begin to feel God's mercy. Number 3 is to walk away from that affair. walk away from it. You need to know something that you're walking towards. So something that is more important to you than that which you are afraid of losing in yourself when you leave. For instance, if you felt that you could only be your real self with your affair partner, walk through the fear of doing that with your spouse, with your spouse or whatever now. And yet it may shake things up, but not any worse than having an affair. Number 4, talk to a counselor, a trusted pastor, or a real friend, and ask them for help. This will make an immense difference, and you will feel relief. A trustworthy person can help you do what you probably won't do alone. Number 5 is, so it says that my guess is you have stopped being honest with your spouse about what's not working in your relationship, and you fear the conflict or the silence. And if you are, consequently, you have taken your real self and your real needs out of your marriage, and that is a problem. So this is where a counselor can create the safety to help you be honest and to hear each other. Number 6 is, if you don't learn how you are contributing to this problem, you will repeat it again. And each of us bring our own wounds to the marriage that impacted much more than we can imagine. But invite your spouse to tell you how you contribute to their hurt and loneliness, and then listen. It is amazing how people can drop their walls when they feel heard. Number 7 is stop deceiving yourself and others. So when we are in the middle of a deception, we have usually told people tell themselves so many lies that they don't know how to go become truthful again. So the beginning of honesty with others is the first be honest with yourself. Number 8 is let the pain that you feel in the absence of your partner, your affair partner, call you to take a step into the mystery of God's very real and inexhaustible love. This is not just religious babble, okay? And there's a book, if you find yourself in this situation, there's a book called The Inner Voice of Love, and this is a very helpful book. Number 9 says tell your spouse the truth. Tell them the truth. I know this brings panic. You panic because you have no idea how it will turn out. But a counselor or an experienced pastor is invaluable to help with this situation. Number 10 is to stay humble and repent through the backlash. Defending yourself or blaming other people only fuels more anger and increase the chance that you'll actually believe your defense. Okay? So, I'm also going to talk about this again. I'm losing. Look like I lost some people. That's okay. I'm going to keep talking. I don't have long. So the disadvantage of dating a married man or woman. The word dating brings sparkle in the eyes of anyone who is young or young at heart. So ask anyone about who they are dating, and you will first notice a smile or the eyes rolling up. Marriage, dating, relationship are very healthy and normal words in any person's life at the right time. But have you thought about the situation where a woman would be dating a married man? Let's see. Let me move on down because this is a lot, and we're almost through now. This is a lot. Okay. So it says it breaks down the reasons for dating a married person. Again, marriage or divorce is not an issue at all for countless women who fall for the looks of another desirable asset of a man, and this is for women too. All they want is to date a man or date a woman. So just look around and you can find a good number of women and men falling in love with married people. The reasons for this, again, where we at? It really is an adrenaline rush. It's an adrenaline rush. So while others have a sense of achievement of a status in the society, other common reasons for such dating could be to seek favors. We went over all of this here stuff. So the situation in the end, or the takeaway, is the point given above will definitely be eye-opening. What it says is such affairs where the man or the woman fall in love with a married person, as they both start dating, it ends in a fiasco. So there are emotional dramas, threats of divorce, or committing suicide by the wife or the husband. that's feeling guilty of this. Financial burdens for various reasons, and most likely the relationship ends in breaking the heart of the person that was betrayed. All right. So I want to end this on this note right here. Marriage is honorable. Marriage is good. Marriage is a beautiful thing. Can we get caught up in our life situations? Yes, we can. Can we forget about all of the things that brought us together? Yes, it can, especially the longer that you've been married. When you get caught up with the children and your life and your career and all of this, yes, you do forget about that intimacy, that passion. But even if something as tragic as this type of betrayal coming into your home, if things are done the right way, your marriage can be mended. It can be mended and brought back together the right way. And it's going to take a lot of work with the person that breached the marriage. And that person that breached the marriage is going to have to really, really, really work hard to build trust back up with their spouse. I said it before, and I'm going to say it one more time. The person that breached the marriage has no right to tell their spouse when they should get over it, what time frame they should get over it, why they should get over it. Oh, that was in the past, but what happened in the past did a lot of damage, even up to this day currently. So you got to put on your big boy pants or your big girl pants. If this is something that happened and you breached your marriage, you need to know it's going to take a whole lot of work, and it's going to take a lot longer than what you think to repair this. So all I'm saying is to the people who have breached whatever, if you have breached your marriage and got found out about it, when you are breaching your marriage, you really do need to make a decision. Whoever you breaching your marriage with, are they the next Mrs. or Mr.? Because what you might have had previously with your spouse, 9 times out of 10, you may never, ever, ever have it again with your spouse because of that breach. So when a lot of times people need to think, if you breach that, you better consider that person you breached your marriage with, you need to consider them to be your future. Because you cannot tell, if you breach your marriage, you cannot tell the person that you hurt and you breached your covenant with, you cannot demand or tell them when and how they should get over what you did. Again, in counseling, one of the things we say is an affair, an illicit affair in a marriage, it's as strong as a death, experiencing a death, because it's basically the death of, it's close to a death of your marriage. So if the person is willing to stay and work it out with you, the person that breached it, be prepared to get what, you're going to have to work hard. You may not like the conversations that are coming up. And yeah, the first thing they say is don't keep repeating it. Yeah, okay. Oh, all right. Anybody that has experienced any type of trauma in their life, whether it's sexual abuse or anything like this, or being set up and you losing your freedom because you're being set up, or anyone that has experienced trauma, severe trauma in their life, it's easy to sit there and tell them, oh, don't talk about it no more. Okay. And this is even harder because you're trying to move on with the person that stabbed you in the back, because that's what happened. So you're trying to see the good in the person that actually stabbed you in the back. They breached their covenant between God, you and them. And so it's not that simple. It's a lot easier to not talk about stuff when you walk away from the situation, walk away from the person, and you go on with your life, and that's my past. But when you living with it, and it's a constant reminder of, man, I just on the inside, I just cannot fully trust this person ever. Because 9 times out of 10, and it is unfortunate, if they did it before, they'll do it again. When you give yourself a reason to do it initially, you know, sin will make you stupid. As religious believers, sin will make you stupid. If you give yourself a reason to do something unethical, it don't just close the door after you get caught. It get easier and easier and easier to do. Like if you lie for the first time, think about someone that lies for the first time. Oh, it's so hard. It's like, oh my God, I lied. You know, it's hard to live with yourself. But the more it gets easier and easier to do. Next thing you know, you're known to be a liar. You are known to be a liar. The same thing with a cheater. Now, I'm not saying that things cannot get better and that a person can't change. And a person can change. But just because you changed, it doesn't mean that hurt, that act of betrayal, and that it still doesn't affect the person that you hurt and that you betrayed. So I'm saying it will always be a factor in your marriage once that door is open. So all I can say is, guys, you know, you don't even have to be a Christian believer or a religious person to understand ethics and integrity. Use ethics and integrity in every area of your life. If you are a friend, use ethics and integrity as in that friendship. You know, as a coworker, use ethics and integrity on your job, but in your home, most of all in your home, use ethics and integrity in your home, even when you disagree with your spouse. That ain't the time to say, I'm gonna get back at that person. No. Love does cover a multitude of sins. And something that Steve Harvey said, I saw something he said to Monique the other day on his show, darkness, bringing more darkness into darkness is never the answer. And then those of us that are Christian and religious believers, we know that doing the wrong thing in a bad situation is never the answer. We know who the answer is. And like I said on Tuesday, if your marriage is that conflicted and that, if it's that broken, Tina said you have to have morals. Yes, you do. You're right. First of all, you do have to have morals in order to practice that. If you don't have any morals, then anything will go. You're absolutely right. And if you're dealing with someone with no morals and no ethics and integrity, I'm here to tell you, I won't tell you anybody, I'm just saying, I don't suggest you try to make it work with anyone like that. Because no matter what you say, no matter what you do, they're going to do what they want to do, when they want to do it, how they want to do it, just because they want to do it. So you're absolutely, and Tina said, and values. You're absolutely right. And values. And unfortunately, I've seen this a lot throughout the years as I've counseled. It's always one person that have a little bit more ethics, integrity than the next. And the one that breached it, you know, I've even heard the person that breached it say, well, she or he's a lot better than me anyway. They're a lot better than me. So they're going to do better than me. So, my rebuttal to that was to the person who does better than that person. So because of, this mindset, do you feel like you can still continue to commit to, to a person that feels like, because they're not, they just don't have the same type of integrity that, you still commit solely to, and you just go on and you just take down? Do you feel like you can live with this? Because if you can, you can. That's fine. But just know they've already told you that they feel like because you're more ethical than them, that's why you don't do the same things that they do. So, you know, you're right. Values of ethics, morals, integrity. There are a lot of people that are just, they're comfortable with the fact that, well, you know, whatever. I just, you know, and one of the main things I've heard is, well, I'm not perfect like that person. I haven't met anyone yet who's perfect. I haven't, but I have met a lot of people that are purer and that they understand covenant. So, you know, I would never ever tell anyone to you know, to just dissolve their marriage or anything like that. But I can say that marriage is work. It's a lot of work anyway. It's a lot of work. But when there's love and respect and ethics and integrity and God first in it, love covers a multitude of sins. But you don't have to be that beaten post, and you don't have to be a martyr in your marriage at the same time, because you don't want to lose your self-worth. You don't want to lose your value by allowing yourself to be beaten and taken through somebody else who doesn't share the same type of ethics and morals and integrities as yourself. So with that being said, are there any more questions or anything? Because our time is up. Our time is up, and we are going to move on to our next topic next week. Okay, I'm sorry. I see. I did implement something, and you all can read it at a later time. But if is there anything, what Tanita stated tonight, she said, and I want to rebuttal what she said. Tanita said that the cheating spouse, most of the time, she said the cheating spouse has given their lover information what they are missing in their marriage. So she was saying that this is why that the lover feels like they can love that cheating spouse better than their spouse, because of course, you know, the one who's breached it, again, it's always the other person's fault why they breached their marriage. You know, so all right, I'm going to end it, and until next week, guys. I was waiting to see if anyone had anything else to say, but God bless you all. These are some tough topics. This is the month of love, and we're talking on some, these are real life topics that we're talking on. And I'm here to tell you that even though life happens, and there's some tough things that we may experience in life, or people may experience in life, it doesn't mean that everything is over with. But realistically, logically, and through theory, through research, and through a lot of history and a lot of different things, it is proven that marriages can be mended if both parties, if they really do fight hard to keep the ethics, morals, and integrity, and that covenant, protect that covenant between the two. Now, I always say it's a triangle. It's God, the husband, and the wife. And I'm telling you, if they keep it this way, marriages, they can last until, like the vow says, until death do us part. Give me 1 minute. Give me 1 minute, and we are, until next Tuesday. All right, this was our theme song for this week. All right, this was it. The topic for this week. People think they can love you better than your spouse can. All right, God bless you all. Good night, everybody. I'll see you next Tuesday. Good night. Thank you, everybody, for your feedback. God bless you all. Good night.